Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles. I hope you've all had a good weekend, and I hope you're going to enjoy today's video. This is a battle that I played in the Russian Tier 4 cruiser, the Svetlana, last week, and I had been meaning to upload it to YouTube almost immediately after I played the battle, because it was epic. Unfortunately, I didn't want to do back-to-back World of Warships videos, and oh, there we go. Friendly destroyer has just managed to torpedo a friendly cruiser by firing his torpedoes ahead of him down the slot here on the Solomon Islands map. Some things never change. Still, he did at least apologise for it. But yes, I didn't want to do two World of Warships videos back to back in the same week, and so I followed up last week's Captain America World of Warships video with a World of Tanks video, and then Armoured Warfare did patch 0.16, so I had to cover that, and well, that's basically why it's taken me so long to get this video up after publishing the results screens on Facebook, which people found highly amusing. Now, if you do follow my Facebook page and you have seen the battle results screens, well, sorry about the spoilers, but trust me, it's going to be worth it. This game was unbelievable on multiple different levels, and there's more friendly fire going on up there. People just really don't seem to care. Well, we've got the usual cluster of ships all slugging it out at point-blank range in the slot there between the various different islands here on the Solomons map, and this was quite a slow starter of a game for me. I was initially thinking, oh, I'll head round this side, but there's only one, no, make that two enemy ships spotted, and we've got a bunch of ships heading in that direction. The majority of enemy ships spotted are all up at the northern end of the map, so I turn around and I head back in that direction. So while we're repositioning and heading further north to try to get some of these enemy ships in range, what is it that I like so much about the Svetlana? Well, she's fast for a start, notably faster than the Soviet or Russian cruisers at tier 1, 2 or 3. With a top speed of 29 knots, she's no speed demon, but it's certainly a respectable turn of speed. The manoeuvrability isn't fantastic, however, with rudder shift time of over 10 seconds. That's kind of the Achilles heel of the Soviet and Russian cruisers. They're fast in a straight line, but they don't turn particularly well. However, the firepower on this ship more than makes up for it. This ship has 15 guns, 130mm naval guns, and while the majority of the guns are mounted in barbettes on the side of the ship, so you're never going to be able to fire all 13 of them at the same target, with careful angling you can get 7 or 8 of them firing at the same target, and that kind of damage soon adds up. The rate of fire isn't fantastic, it's a little on the slow side, but it's acceptable. Add to that the fact that this ship has 4 torpedo launchers, 2 on each side, with a range of 5 kilometers. Means that this ship can push out an insane amount of damage in a relatively short space of time. The one major weakness of the Svetlana is that the armour is terrible. It is a light cruiser, so while it can put the damage out, it's not necessarily very good at taking it. Now, it did take me some time to actually get involved in the action in this game, and we were initially 2 kills up, so I was thinking, I'm going to have to haul ass here if I want to actually do anything in this game. Oh, oh wow. Yeah, that one's going to come back and bite me in the arse. I get to do plenty in this game. Enemy destroyer spotted. Battleship up ahead there, burning, falling back and retreating. We're going to try and nail the destroyer. I score a hit. Destroyer's obviously popped smoke, but moving just too quickly to stay inside the smoke screen. Realises he's attracting a lot of fire here, doubles back inside the safety of the smoke, and I lose sight of him. This guy is actually a very, very good player. That guy in the wicks has managed to reach rank 5 in ranked battles, so he knows what he's doing. And we're going to see him on the post-battle results screen. He's going to be one of the few players on the enemy team to actually survive this battle, but lost sight of the destroyer, guns are up, we're just coming in range of this Wyoming tier 4 battleship. I'm pretty much spamming the high explosive here, and set my first fire, the first of many throughout the course of this game. I am in fact going to come out of this battle with not 1 but 2 Arsonist awards. It's not that the 130mm armour piercing on the Svetlana isn't effective, but I never really got the opportunity to use it in this game. In fact, the only time I do fire the armour piercing in this particular match, it doesn't work out very well for me at all, but that's more to do with the situation in which I was electing to switch to armour piercing, and you'll see that when I come up against an enemy Phoenix. Taking pot shots at the side of a battleship at the extreme limit of my range like this, high explosive is the moneymaker here. put those HE shells into the superstructure, set them on fire, and just let the fire do the damage. And it does a not insubstantial amount of damage by itself anyway. If you can manage to hit the superstructure, not the side of the ship where all the armour is, that's where you're going to get all of the non-penetrations. Checking the map. Plenty of friendly ships up here, and only that Wyoming really in range. And I think he's realised that all of his support was bugged out. He's put the fire out. I set him on fire again. He is going to continue to burn. And I've turned around because, yeah, I don't want to get shot at by the Wyoming. You can't see me at the moment because smoke screens, and I set him on fire again, but there we go, now I've been detected. Those smoke screens aren't going to last forever. And so I've doubled back to allow something that actually has some armour, like that Wyoming-class battleship, move up and take the fire for me. And oh look, there's the Wicks again. Gee, do you think he might be launching torpedoes? What do you think? Do you think it's likely? I think it's likely, so I'm paying attention to torpedoes in the water, although it's unlikely that he's fired them at me. It's far more likely that he's fired them at that Wyoming up there, who is paying no attention whatsoever to the fact that a destroyer has just popped up on his flank well within torpedo range. And, well, if I could see them coming, why couldn't the battleship, who is going to be the most obvious target? Circled around, back in range. Oh, there we go. 35,000 health on that Wyoming up front, and ate every single one of the torpedoes. There we go. He's just died. 35,000 health gone as quickly as that. I mean, what did he want the destroyer to do? Write him a letter letting him know that torpedoes were on the way. I don't see how much more obvious it could have been. What's ironic is that enemy Wyoming up there, who I've set on fire for the third or fourth time now, and is going to give me my first Arsonist award, actually survives this game. He and the guy in the Wicks were the first two people in this game, and there we go, there's another fire. How he survives this, I have no idea, but he does manage to get away. But he and the guy in the Wicks, the first two people that I inflicted any damage on in this game, are the only two survivors on the enemy team. Now, that Wyoming is on such low health at this point, and there's a Kawachi and another Svetlana chasing him down, that I figure, well, there's no way he's going to survive. But, well, yeah. This is what happens when you rely on your team to not suck. Instead, I've noticed a slightly more significant threat approaching through the slot between the islands. It's an enemy Phoenix. Now, he's got substantially less health than I do, but he has a lot of guns as well, so it doesn't pay to underestimate the Phoenix. I'm turning away here so as not to present a broadside towards his guns in case he is firing armor piercing, and I'm pretty sure that he was, but I switched to armor piercing here as well, and he's doing pretty much exactly the same. And, well, not the most ideal of circumstances in which two cruisers could be firing armor piercing ammunition at each other, and I do in fact hit this guy. Well, I fire 16 armor piercing shells, 10 of them hit, and they do 750 damage, but, well, neither of us are presenting broadsides to each other, so back to the high explosive, and let's start actually getting some damage done on this guy. And, well, you can see the immediate results when I do reload the high explosive. Look at that, 3,500 damage, so yeah, screw it, HE for the win. Now, remember, the Phoenix and the Omaha at tier 5, American cruisers that actually have torpedoes, so if this guy turns broadside on, or even partially broadside on like that, you have to expect there to be torpedoes in the water, and there's the torpedo warning. And I've turned away from them, and he's going to try to get the torpedo tubes launched against me from the other side as well, but he's trying to time it so that I've got the least amount of guns firing at him as he does it, and here they come. So I'll take advantage of this to get as much damage done as possible, and then turn away. Bingo, killed the Phoenix. What's going on up there? Oh, you've got to be joking. We only have 3 ships left. And there's the Phoenix's torpedoes. What happened to the rest of the team? In the length of time it took me to kill that Phoenix, we just lost 4 ships. The Kawachi got killed chasing down the Wyoming, who managed to escape. The Svetlana up there is now exchanging broadside fire with the St. Louis. Luckily, the St. Louis is in range. The Svetlana has managed to miss him with all of... No, he's managed to hit him with 1 torpedo. But I've set him on fire. He's now turning away, a little bit too late to avoid the torpedoes. There's just myself, a Wyoming, and the Svetlana left. And you can see some fire coming in over there. That's from the Wyoming that managed to escape, and they've just managed to kill the Svetlana as I put the St. Louis down. So there's just me and a Wyoming left. Well, except there isn't, because the Wyoming is AFK and has been for the entire game. Fantastic. Top tier battleship, AFK the entire match. Now I don't know why he was AFK, it's entirely likely that he just suddenly lost his internet connection as he was loading into the game, but I don't really care. There he is. Hasn't moved the entire game. I don't really care why he's AFK, I just care that he is AFK. I'm now going to have to engage carry mode against 6 enemy ships. And there's the first one. It's a South Carolina American Tier 3 battleship. It's not a terribly good ship, but he does have significantly bigger guns than I do. In fact, my only real advantage at the moment is the fact that he hasn't seen me. So I'm going to try to get within my 11.3 kilometer gun range and get as many of these guns firing as possible for the maximum possible chance of setting him on fire with the initial salvo. And he's just popped within range, and he seems to be just sitting there dead in the water. I mean, I can see that his engines are active because there's smoke coming out of the smokestacks, but he doesn't actually appear to be moving. And as luck would have it, my first salvo falls short and immediately gives my position away on firing the guns. And oh great, there's that Wyoming. Now that Wyoming has, well, he's got the side of my ship to shoot at, but I don't really have an awful lot of choices at this point. It's basically me alone against half an enemy team. And I know that this South Carolina is not AFK because I set him on fire and he immediately extinguishes the flames. So why he's just sitting there dead in the water, I have no idea. There we go, on fire. Fire immediately gets put out with a damage control ability. Wyoming is getting uncomfortably close, and then disaster strikes. It's now a 3-on-1 fight, and the Karlsruhe is definitely the immediate threat. He's the guy I can sink the fastest, and he's firing armor piercing at me. So I have to keep the angle quite tight. I launched some torpedoes. I'm thinking about trying to get the rear torpedo launcher fired at him, but that would just expose too much of the side of my ship to both the Karlsruhe and the Wyoming. And the Wyoming hits me and knocks out my engine. So I have to use the damage control ability to get the engine back up. And now I'm turning away from the Karlsruhe because he is going to have fired torpedoes, but I need to put him down. I've lost the turrets. I've lost the torpedo launcher. We've nailed the Karlsruhe. But swinging the arse of the ship around like this to avoid the fire and the torpedoes, and there they are from the Karlsruhe, means that I can bring the rear torpedo launchers to bear on the South Carolina, while keeping him lit up as he finally lurches into action with the high explosive fire from the 130mm guns. And we've set him on fire again. He's now burning in 2 separate places. The Wyoming, by the way, is about to have a bit of a derp moment as he basically beaches himself. You can see there on the map. He's about to run himself aground while trying to hit me. And that's the only torpedo hit I score during the entire course of this match. All of the damage that I achieved in this game, aside from that single torpedo hit against this South Carolina, was achieved with the guns. And he's turned, finally, and he's on fire again. And oh, there we go, high caliber, 84,000 damage done so far. And I have lost a lot of health here, but which is to be expected. I mean, I was in a point-blank range fight, 3-on-1 against a Tier 4 cruiser, a Tier 4 battleship, and a Tier 3 battleship. And I've killed the Tier 4 cruiser, and I'm just about to kill the Tier 3 battleship. I've launched some torpedoes against him from the other side of the ship, but, well, he wasted his damage control ability when he was on full health and only burning in one location. And bingo, there you go. That's actually my first arsonist award. It was against the South Carolina, not the Wyoming, that managed to get away and is now completely out of line of sight after beaching himself on the island over there while trying to sink me. So I get a little bit cocky in chat here and I shout next, and that's going to provoke a reaction from the captain of the Karlsruhe that I just sank, who gets a little bit salty about it, but you'll see that pop up in chat in a moment. Now we're being capped, so, well, I know where at least one of the enemy destroyers are, even if I can't see them, and there's another practically full health Wyoming. Now I'm not spotted at the moment, so that Wyoming is basically farming free damage against the AFK battleship on the team. I need to hit and detect, oh there he is, Tennessee, and he managed to get just a little bit too close to the AFK friendly Wyoming to get himself spotted, so I need to take advantage of this while it lasts. If this guy caps, regardless of the number of points or the number of ships that are left alive, it's game over and we've lost. So firing is obviously going to give away my position to that other enemy Wyoming, but he's more focused on farming free damage against the AFKer, and there's the salty captain of the Karlsruhe in chat. Yeah, you're next loser. Well, we're just going to see about that, aren't we? Challenge accepted. Desperately trying to hit this destroyer, but I've managed to miss with every shot I've fired, and he disappears from sight, and he's almost managed to fully cap. Fire blind, hit him, partially reset the cap. Okay, now I'm going to have to deal with this Wyoming. They've managed to sink the friendly AFKer. Now he's got no choice but to start shooting at me. And here it comes. 8,000 health. I'm hit. I'm burning. Can't afford to burn to death, not with this little health remaining, so I burn my damage control ability, and just about the next shot that hits me knocks my engine out. Oh shit. So, point blank range in front of an enemy destroyer who has fired torpedoes at me. I know this for a fact. There's no way my shots would have hit him if he hadn't been sailing in a straight line when he disappeared. And yep, there are the torpedoes. Look at my speed. Look at the amount of health I have. I can't repair my engine. Oh, there's the Isakaze. I need to sink this guy. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Job done. Next. But I'm slowing to a virtual stop with a crippled engine right in front of a Wyoming-class battleship. He's got all of his gun turrets pointed at me. So there is just no way I'm going to survive this. Let's just do as much possible damage as I can. Keep firing the guns. Hell, you never know. Oh, and there's the second set of torpedoes from the Isakaze, but because my engine was knocked out, they all miss as well. I managed to get my engine up. Just managed to avoid the second set of torpedoes. Why has this guy not killed me yet? More importantly, where is the other Wyoming and the Wix-class destroyer on the enemy team while I'm pummeling this guy into submission as well? We haven't seen that Wix since he torpedoed the Wyoming ahead of me 8 minutes into the game, so what he's been doing for the last 10 minutes is anybody's guess. He certainly hasn't been threatening me, which is bizarre because I'm the only target remaining for him to shoot at. And the other Wyoming, who was the guy that managed to get away on low health from a Kawachi and another Svetlana while sinking the Kawachi in the process, well, he was last seen up here. If he just sailed forward, he could be killing me right now, but there's no sign of him either. And so that's real bad news for this Wyoming. Who hits me again? Oh, we'll put that fire out and finish him as well. And there's my second Arsonist award to go with the Kraken Unleashed, the other Arsonist award, a devastating strike, a high caliber, and a Confederate. 136,000 damage done, almost all of it with my guns, in a tier 4 cruiser. No sign of the other two ships on the enemy team. I think they were actually afraid to come and fight me. Really. If that Wyoming was interested in fighting me, he would have been up there in the slot between the Solomon Islands already. But no sign of him. He must have turned around and run to the other end of the map. Same with the Wix. And I actually briefly toyed with the idea of going after them, but then I looked at the timer and thought, oh, great. Oh well, that's it. I can't win. And so, well, not coming after me may, in fact, have been the smart choice for those two guys, because if I'd killed them as well, with bare seconds of this game to go, they would have been kicking themselves. As it is, they're probably kicking themselves anyway, because this was not a particularly good win for them. And it wasn't a particularly good win for the majority of the enemy team. I mean, I sank half of them. So I thought, oh, screw it. I'll at least be able to retire with my honour intact. And, well, yeah. What a defeat. I just wasn't carrying hard enough, was I? Look at that. 324,000 credits earned, 2,700 experience, a whole clutch of medals. That was 136,576 damage done, which would have been impressive in a tier 10 match, let alone a tier 4. Look at that. More experience for losing than anybody on the enemy team for winning, including the two survivors. What a game. You know, there was a time when I would have gotten a result like this and I would have thrown my keyboard through my monitor in frustration, but I was actually quite pleased with this result. Defeat or not, I guess I must be mellowing with age. Look at the damage. That's 50,000 damage done by fires alone. There's the two Arsonist awards for you. So, yeah. Yeah, I thought, okay, I've had enough of World of Warships for one day. After this match, I'm going to quit while I'm behind. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video, folks. The replay is available on worldofwarshipsreplays.com. I'll put the link in the video description if you want to have a go for yourself. But do it fast, because there's a patch coming soon. The latest version of the test server is up, and I hope to be getting on there after I've done this video and having a look and seeing what's new. So that coming up in a future video. In the meantime, folks, take care, and I'll catch you next time.